Good morning. Now in this lecture we will discuss ultrasonic welding process. Before starting the ultrasonic welding process, I want to tell you it is a type of solid state welding processes. अब ये बहुत जरूरी हो जाता है आप लोगों के लिए जानना कि सॉलिड स्टेट वेल्डिंग प्रोसेसेस क्या होते हैं। तो मैं आपको बता देता हूँ ए सॉलिड स्टेट वेल्डिंग प्रोसेस produces colsans at a temperatures essentially below the melting point of base materials being joined without the addition of a filler metal. Pressure is always applied, yani there is no use of filler metal and pressure will be always applied. And another thing is that the temperature at which the coalescence is produced in solid state welding will be below the melting point of base material that being joined. This is the solid state welding process. Now we will discuss the introduction of ultrasonic welding processes. Ultrasonic welding processes is a solid state welding process wherein colsans is produced by the local application of high frequency vibratory energy to the workpieces as they are held together under pressure. Actually, the workpieces are clamped together under a modest static force normal to their interface and oscillating shear stresses of ultrasonic frequencies are applied approximately parallel to the plane of interface for about 1 second but usually less. The combined effect of pressure and vibration cause movement of the matter molecules and bring about a sound union about a sound union between the faces material in contact. It will be come from the contact surfaces of both metal, यानी जहां पर metals दोनों touch करती हैं it will be come from that point. Bonding of the workpieces is not depend upon melting of their surfaces. Is that clear? I have already told you that bonding of materials is not depend upon melting of their surfaces, nor does it involve high pressure and large deformations. Rather, the bonding is accomplished in the solid state without the applying external heat, filler rod, or high pressures. If ultrasonic weld is completed in about 0.5 to 1.5 seconds. Now, I will discuss to you what is the principle of operation ultrasonic welding process. Since vibratory action in ultrasonic welding breaks up and disperse moistures, oxides and other insulations coatings, normally degreasing may be the only cleaning required before the welding. In case of aluminum, it is very important to remove the oxides and degreasing the and cleaning is required of the surfaces. Yani before starting the ultrasonic welding, it is the compulsory we should clean the workpiece. हमें वर्कपीस को साफ कर लेना चाहिए कि वर्कपीस के सरफेस के ऊपर ऑक्साइड्स की लेयर होती हैं और हमारा ग्रीस लगा रहता है और मॉइस्चर होता है तो उसको क्लियरली रिमूव कर लेना चाहिए. एंड द सेकंड स्टेप पीसेस टू बी वेल्डेड, जो पीसेस हमें वेल्ड करने हैं आर क्लैम्प्ड बिटवीन द वेल्डिंग टिप and an anvil. Here the welding tip is sonotrod. You know what is the sonotrod? Actually the coupling system and welding tip from a unit called a sonotrod. Is that clear? Actually the coupling system and welding tip form a unit called a sonotrod. So the workpiece to be welded are clamped between the welding sonotrod tip and an anvil. You know very well what is the anvil. I have told you in many lectures what is the anvil. Both tip and anvil are faced with high speed steel since considerable wear can occur at the contacting faces. Now, this is the basically diagram of ultrasonic welding process. Here a frequency converter which not shown in the figure convert 50 cycle line power into high frequency electrical power, and a transducer, this is the transducer, changes the electrical power into ultrasonic vibratory energy, which is transmitted to the joint through the welding tip attached to the transducer. The tip oscillates in the plane of the joint interface. To start with, some triggering mechanism lowers the welding head, applies necessary clamping force, and start the flow of ultrasonic energy. This is the transducer that convert the high electrical energy into uh, frequency power in frequency power into high electrical energy, and this is the welded frame, and this is the clamping force applied, and this is the coupler, and this is the direction of the vibration, and that is the sonotrod that I have already told you. Sonotrod क्या होती है actually? The coupling system होता है एक तरह का, and welding tip form a unit called a sonotrod. Sonotrod, or this one is the anvil. This one is the anvil in which between the sonotrod and the anvil, workpiece will be held together. Both workpieces held together. Ultrasonic vibrations combine with the static force, induce dynamic shear stresses in the workpieces, and then local plastic deformation of joint materials occurs at the interface. यानी जो हमारे अल्ट्रासोनिक वाइब्रेशन है वो कंबाइन हो जाते हैं हमारे स्टैटिक क्लैंपिंग फोर्सेस से। जो स्टैटिक क्लैंपिंग फोर्स हमारा कंटिन्यूसली अप्लाई किया जा रहा है, यू कैन सी इन द डायग्राम, क्लैंपिंग फोर्स applied through a mount. Static clamping force is applied gradually, and the electrical energy converted into the mechanical vibrating energy through this transducer. The combination of both static clamping force and vibrating energy result in dynamic shear stresses in the workpieces. Then local plastic deformation occurs of joint materials at the interface of the material. This plastic deformation occurs at the interface of the joint materials. Then oxide coatings and other surface films are shared and dispersed so that intimate contact and bonding of the workpieces take place. I have already told you that what is the solid state welding process, and what is the uh, ultrasonic welding process, and what is the working principle of ultrasonic welding processes. And in this diagram I have told you what is the function of the transducer. Here is a another transducer is used, which has not shown in the diagram, that convert the 50 cycle line power into high frequency electrical power. And this one transducer that has been shown in the diagram, it helps to convert the electrical power into high electrical frequency into mechanical vibrating energy. And static clamping force will be applied continuously. It will be normal to the interface of the workpieces, and the combination of both vibrating energy and the static clamping force will be result in the plastic deformation at the interface of the workpieces. Is that clear? Now we will discuss the some three advantages and disadvantages of ultrasonic welding processes. Now, there is a big advantage of ultrasonic welding processes is speed, and another case, surface preparation is not critical, and not defects are produced from arc gases and filler metals, and dissimilar metals having vastly different melting points can be joined with the help of ultrasonic welding process. And another advantage of ultrasonic welding process is that minimum surface deformation result. If we will compare it another welding processes, uh, there will be minimum surface deformation results, and very thin materials we can easily weld it. Uh, if in the case of thin and thick sections can be joined together with the help of ultrasonic welding processes, because of the low temperatures that are involved, the characteristics of the material are not altered and are continue through the weld zone. Moreover, heat affected zone is minimized. To weld glass is impossible by any other means. The equipment is simple and reliable and moderate, and सेमी स्किल पर्सन इज रिक्वायर्ड यानी ऑपरेटर जो है हमारा सेमी स्किल ऑपरेटर रिक्वायर्ड हो सकता है एंड देर आर सम डिसएडवांटेजेस ऑफ अल्ट्रासोनिक वेल्डिंग ultrasonic welding is not economical competitive when other processes can be used to do the same job अगर आप सेम मेटल को वेल्ड कर रहे हैं अल्ट्रासोनिक वेल्डिंग से और आर्क वेल्डिंग प्रोसेसेस से तो अल्ट्रासोनिक वेल्डिंग इज नॉट इकोनॉमिकली so it is not this is the biggest disadvantage of ultrasonic welding and another disadvantage is this process is restricted to joining thin materials uh, sheet foils and wires the maximum is about 3 mm for aluminium and 1 mm for the hardened metals now material being welded tend to weld to the tip and anvil and due to the fatigue loading I have already told you in what the working principle of ultrasonic welding process that due to the vibrating energy a fluctuating load will be applied on both workpieces to being welded so there is a chance of fatigue failure so the life of equipment is short. Is that clear? Now hard materials will fatigue under the stresses necessary for welding, and very ductile materials will yield under ultrasonic strain without saline. These are the more disadvantages and advantages of ultrasonic welding process. Now I will discuss to you what is the applications of ultrasonic welding process. Ultrasonic welding is particularly suited to the welding of thin metal sections using lap joints as in electrical resistance, welding and cold welding, joining of electrical and electronic components. It is also used welding aluminum wire and sheets and fabricating of unclear fuel elements and the ultrasonic process also find applications involving bimetallic junctions and in producing a variety of joints configurations and continuous seam welding has been used to assemble components of, of its exchangers and strainers skins have been welded without clogging of holes. Spot welding using uh, special tips and anvils has been applied for pinch of weld closures in copper and aluminum tubing with arc used with capillary tubes in refrigerator and air conditioning. These are the some applications of ultrasonic weldings I have told you. Now, thank you very much. If you